Welcome to the Boston's Big Four podcast. Cast. New news about music and sports every week, sometimes.
All right, episode 85. Are we at 85 now? No, 84. It's 84.
Double check that. But
No, it's 84. I know it
that
is.
Sounds right.
All right,
yeah.
Episode 84, Boston's Big Podcast. We have a very special guest with us,
Correction.
Amanda Shea.
It is 84.
Yeah, I thought so.
That's the year I was born.
Oh,
Gang,
so this is
gang.
Perfect.
Let's go. Let's go.
Amanda Shea is with us, ladies and gentlemen, the multi-talented Amanda Shea. I would try to give you a title, but there's too many things that you do. So
I'm gonna give you a 10 out of 10 for energy out the gate. Other guests need to pick it up. That's all I have to say. You're killing it right
Facts.
I appreciate y'all. Lack of energy, definitely not a thing. I'm a whole Aquarius, so that means I'm an air sign. So, even when it blows this way and I'm in one space, it could easily blow again. And then I'm back to hey, astrology. I'm going to ask you what your horoscope signs are at some point, if you don't just throw them out now. But, we could
I'm
get
a Gemini.
I'm a Pisces.
Okay, I like Gemini.
Okay.
My dad's actually a Gemini, and you said you're a Pisces.
Yeah.
Awesome. My best friend's birthday, actually, of 17 years was yesterday. She's a Pisces, so I love Pisces people. And my other best friend, his birthday is February, end of February, also Pisces. So I mess with Gemini and Pisces people for sure.
Word.
Awesome. So I wanted to ask, actually, now this is like a quick side note, but you got me thinking. Astrology, signs. I've heard things like, and this is like a theme through like all different. I've seen this in like shows and colors do it. Like things, some things are complementary, and like that's the same with signs. I've heard like certain signs like will work better together than others. And I've heard that even within the signs, there can be like, I've been told, I'm a June Gemini. I've been told those are particularly bad. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means about me. I think I'm an okay person, but I don't know. Like, what is are there certain signs that like, if you see those signs together, it's like yes or no? Like, I don't know how those exactly work.
For me, I think it's just like interaction. I feel like there are similarities with people and certain characteristics. Yeah, certain characteristics that people can possess that are like, okay, you're a Gemini, you're a Pisces. However, like nature versus nurture, Absolutely. Environment, all that like experience, all that stuff plays a role in how the person's gonna inevitably be. For me, I love Scorpios. Yeah, it's like one of those relationships where it's like love and hate with Scorpios, but that's just me. And maybe that's just a commonality of maybe the people, but I don't necessarily say, okay, I'm going to stay away from all Scorpios because I've experienced too many bad ones. Like I'm going to give you a shot regardless.
Okay. And isn't that actually, is Orion in the Aquarius star chart or something? Because isn't Orion like chases Scorpio out of the sky? Like in the times of year, I've heard they are like opposites as far as like sky positioning.
Check you out. Let me low key, high key, like see that like you actually know your shit and you're just like playing cool right now. Like you're asking
astronomy class. That's all. I'm just trying out here.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, to be honest.
You're like, okay.
Yeah, I'm lost.
I just know I'm a Pisces, and that's
awesome.
Okay. Sorry, I'm going too deep. Shout out.
No, don't apologize. We just we're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. I need answers. And we learned a while ago, Sway doesn't have the answers, so someone has to have the answers.
Yo, I love Yay though. That was an epic moment.
That was.
You don't have the answer, Sway. I still use that to this day.
That was iconic.
He's got to be most quotable. I don't know if anyone beats him in that department.
That's interesting. You know what? You're probably right.
So anyways, I wanted to let's get into the music. That was a fun, I went going into the stars. Or actually, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So a lot of your spoken word I've found on YouTube within the past like year or so. Is there, when did you get into that, and when did you decide that you were gonna put it out like on video format?
I've been writing forever at this point. I feel like I said this episode is actually the year I was born, so y'all can do the math. I'm not ashamed. Not ashamed. Um, not at all. I've been writing for a really long time, and it wasn't until I moved to Boston where I felt like I found like my voice and wanting to perform on stages. Um, it was coming here and being engulfed in this beautiful poetry community that really was like, okay, I may be able to do this, because they were so passionate about what they wrote. And it was like they took me back to that experience of like what made them write it. And I felt like I was in the room with also all these visionary type of things going on in my imagination of how it looks. And for me, that's what made me like fall in love with wanting to like do it for myself. I was already like in love with it, but for myself, I was just very like guarded, and really just like shy about sharing my work, to be honest with you. As far as now, I feel like for the last 3 years, I literally quit like my day-to-day job and became a full-time artist. And now just being so immersed in it every day, because I'm also a teaching artist as well, like it just made me think like outside the box. I think that certain production companies and certain collaborations with artists in the city has just allowed me to be able to think outside the box and say, okay, there's no ceilings. What else can I potentially do that would, shift what my art looks like in this form? How can I bring it to a different form? And for me, video just seemed like the best option at the time. I think initially when I wanted to do it, I was way too scared to do it. And now with the COVID and pandemic and being in the house, like it just allowed me to really sit down and like learn what a storyboard is and what a treatment is. And I've worked with artists before who have shot music videos, but I understood like what I was doing was really condensed. My poems are really not that long. They're actually literally 2 minutes and some change. So how can you tell a story within such a short period of time, but still be able to convey the message? That was long-winded, sorry.
No, that was good. I mean, it totally makes sense. I mean, Boston does give you those outlets, and from what we've learned, I mean, I didn't always know this, but the artists in Boston are pretty supportive, and that we've learned that wasn't always the case. But nowadays, that seems to be, everyone lifts each other up. There are increasingly more venues, even though we're losing some right now to the whole pandemic. But it's things do seem to be like we're getting more avenues, and your experiences that you get into really have an impact. Like, so as far as like when you mentioned the length, like I felt like I was watching movies. Like everything is sort of like really being drawn out in your mind. You're like seeing the things, and even though it's all happening in 2 minutes, like I'm experiencing hours and days of what you're talking about. So you definitely structured it right, if that makes sense. And I don't know if you shopped this around to people and everything like before publishing, but you gave those right vibes. So it was one of those things. And how long? Now, Body, I guess, is the one I'm thinking about, like in the front. And how long before that incident did you? Well, I guess you put it to paper like within 20 minutes, right? And then did you work with that first draft, or did you like how long did it take for that to end up being the final form?
You did your research. You were like, you said it took 20 minutes. It did actually. I wrote it 20 minutes after I got the news of needing surgery, and that was February 11th of 2020. I think honestly, Body wasn't even gonna be at all like a part of the series. It just happened like that. And the beautiful thing, okay, so I guess I haven't told everybody the whole story, but we'll just let it unravel. So basically, it initially started with 3 videos. which was FaceTime, Entangled, and then Resilience. I wanted to put these on the forefront because I felt like they were poems that I had done in live shows that when I was performing them, I felt like it was a different experience of what it would be like in the videos. And honestly, that was my attempt of like trying to take a back seat, if that makes sense. Like I really wanted to see like who was rocking with me. And I really wanted to just do something without feeling like under pressure. Bless you. I didn't hear it, but I saw it.
Yeah, quick with the mute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
He was like, shh. Oh, okay. I really wanted to be intentional on just taking, like I said, a backseat to the art and say, okay, if I was to just throw this out there and don't do too much marketing, too much promotion, like, let's see what it would do. You know what I mean? I was really, really proud of those three. Body kind of came up because I was supposed to have a photo shoot, which actually happened with Rob. Shout out to my guy, Rob, Trinity Chase Films. That's my guy. We were supposed to have a shoot and the whole concept had to change because my outfit had came and did not fit. So I was like, can I curse?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. I was like, I already said something earlier. No one said anything, but like, let me just check. Okay, cool. Now I'm even more. Okay, now I'm even more. You thought the energy was high before. It's super high now.
You're not the first person to think that we censored this show, and I guess we don't go off the handle, but no rules. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
rules.
no rules.
Yay, I love that. No shade to the people that have them, but yay, no rules. Again, Aquarius, no rules. Yeah, so the outfit didn't fit and I was pressed. I was like, what am I gonna do? Basically, long story short, I came up with a concept really, really fast. I've always been interested in aerial arts. I knew that I couldn't do aerial arts in my home, but I could at least try to create the illusion that that's what I was leading to. So hopefully people understood that. And then I saw the pictures and I was just like, these are beautiful. I was like, you know what? What if this was a film? Like, what if this was part of the series? Like, what if we just did a video for it? So I reached back out to my people, Maze Radio, who did Resilience as well. And also just like recorded a lot of like my pre-recorded performances in COVID. So shout out to them. They're absolutely amazing. And I was like, I want to do this concept. It's literally focused just on my body. I think I'm going to do this poem. And I really feel like people should hear this. And let's do it in black and white to kind of like play on the fact that like these are our bodies and over time we age. And when I think of when I see black and white, I automatically think like old school, black and white TVs. So it was just a beautiful experience and it came out of that. And then it was like a light bulb moment. Shout out to Katie Willett from WBUR, who did an article about this, about the video for Body. Absolutely amazing. And just talking to her for the interview, like just made me realize like how much more this needed to be produced. It brought up a lot of issues for me, like body dysmorphia, which it talks about, and just being insecure with oneself and just feeling like you can't move within your body, which is, really disappointing. And it can cause a lot of mental health issues. So I really wanted to just throw it out there. And I'm glad that I did, because it's funny how art really does heal you, right? Like I say that all the time, like my art heals me, but like it's a true story. Like ever since I've put this out, I felt more confident about myself. The irony of that, like I showed all these insecurities in this piece and here I am now. Like I feel fearless now in a sense.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, and you touch on this in your in the teeth video as well, where there's almost like when you're not comfortable, you're almost like hiding a piece of yourself all the time. And then like, and this could happen in the thing, like failing a test or something. And you just like, you don't want it to happen. You don't want people to see this. You don't want people to know something about yourself. And then it happens. but then you realize like you're still like together and everything's kind of okay still, even though maybe that happened, but you're moving past it, and it wasn't as devastating. Maybe it was, but it didn't end you like you thought it may have. And like when you get past those things and when everything's out on the table, all the judgments there to be had. So I think there's a strength in that. And when you really just lay it out for people and say, this is me unapologetically, and I can't do that yet. I know so many people can't do that. It's hard to just like get out there and give someone a piece of you. And that's really what it is. And there's therapy to that too. And I can hear it in the voice and in your stories. You're not just spouting off rhymes. You're saying what's happened to you and why that's significant. And yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you for saying every single word that you just said. Words matter, so I really pay attention. So thank you so much. That's exactly it. Yeah, there's just something about vulnerability I feel like is going to heal the world, because even though we go through different experiences, some of the emotions and the feelings can feel very similar. So I feel like we can bond over that in that moment, and also like create an understanding and be able to just love on one another in the space of such beautiful creation of art and from these beautiful artists. Like coming to Boston was a really like pivotal moment for me. I owe this city so much because I found myself in it. I have been educated on my history. I have been shown so many different experiences, allotted a lot of different opportunities, attended a lot of schools, been able to be in amazing institutions. Some not always amazing, but I digress. But you know, I feel like the city has so much to offer, and there's talent literally every single place. It's just really hard to not be inspired.
Yeah. Are there any artists in the city or just artists anywhere that have kind of inspired you to take this route with putting yourself out there? Or
Do we have all week? How long is
Right.
how long is this pod?
We'll
No,
cut it
like
together.
seriously. I say that jokingly, but I'm so dead ass. Like I will sit here and list you at least 50 people. There's not enough names that I could say. And every time I answered that question, I feel bad because I feel like I'll leave somebody out.
Right.
I'm just gonna say this. Go back to some of my other interviews and I'll list like at least 50 people. I think there's just so many. There's literally so many, and I'm thinking genres, and I'm just like from youth to my age to my elder generation. Like there's literally something for everyone here. Like people are really talented for real. So I don't, at this moment, I can't say who's my like favorite. I'll just say that I really support everyone equally for real.
And who do we think is the worst out there right now? That might not be fair. That might not be fair.
See,
He does this every time.
Y'all know Brandy Blaze's PR, right? Like
yes, we did know that. We did know that.
So I ain't gonna answer that.
We're Brandy Blaze fans over here.
Yes, gang.
We were watching Brandy Blaze perform at Maggie's Lounge in Quincy like 6 years ago.
Then y'all are true.
Yes.
Yeah, no joke. I remember seeing her. It was late too. I remember being like, everyone was like, it was just one of those shows. It was 1 a.m. or something, and we were all kind of like filtering out. And I think it was one of Hush's shows or something. And Brandy comes on, and I was like, this charisma, like I couldn't believe it.
She brought the energy every time.
Like, what's going on? But yeah, and obviously Boston Music Awards, everything has been skyrocketing since then. It's crazy.
Yo,
it's been amazing to see, just because we saw her back then, and now it's like, you know,
right?
When I see her at the Boston Music Awards, it's like it's awesome, because you always saw like that passion and that energy.
That's hard work though, and dedication.
Absolutely.
That is hard work and dedication. That her story, along with so many others, red shades who've been doing this, you know what I mean? And like, I think that's so beautiful for everybody to be able to know them and them be able to get their flowers because they put in the time for real. Like,
Yeah.
I see Brandy on a day to day, and like when I tell you, full-time artist, full-time employee, not one but two jobs. Like she works, so it's just beautiful to be able to witness like her receiving the fruits of her labor for real. And she's just got so much more, so much more, so much more. Somebody, it was Uncle Sam from LFOD. Ever since he said it, it is exactly what it is. He was like watching Brandy Blaze come out on stage is like being at WWE. And I was like, yo, that is the perfect analogy.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I can see that.
I can't take credit for it. It came from him, but yes, exactly. Her energy is explosive.
That's definitely how I felt at the Boston Music Awards because I was like, she was. I mean, I knew, I guess, a handful of artists at the time. In the past like year or two, I've become far more hip to the scene. But I knew her, and she was one of the main people I was going to see. And yeah, I lost it. I was just like, I got right up front. I wanted the press pass so bad. I basically had one. I was leaning over the railing. I was just like ready to go. It did. It really, WWE is a great, like I was shaking and stuff. It was fun.
I love
really
it. She's incredible.
Are there any secrets? Can you like tease us anything coming from Brandy right now? That look, I think maybe there is a secret album coming.
I don't know nothing.
Sounds like
I don't know nothing. I know she just did an interview though. She's done a few. Like I don't know. I have no clue.
It seems like you know something, but
yeah. And I might be a goon because it's probably like you could probably timestamp figure out that she has announced some album that I'm unaware of right now, and maybe I'm just sounding like a goon right now. So I could be wrong. I could, maybe there is an album out already.
B3? I don't know. We would have to
shout out Brandy Blaze.
Have to figure it out.
When did you guys start working together? Did you was that recent?
I met Brandy. It's so funny. I'm so glad that I heard her tell the story because I'm like, yo, both of us. Yeah, I met Brandy almost like 4 years ago. I can't believe that because like time has just, I feel like I've known Brandy forever. That's first and foremost, but like just to think about 4 years just flying by. We met at open mics in the scene. I had saw her, shout out to Oompa who did the house slams over at the Haley House and had Brandy over there. And I was just like, you're fantastic. I'm hosting an open mic over here at Dudley Cafe. Would you like to be the feature? And she brought Mama Blaze, and Brandy's just a sweetheart. So like we just kicked it off. And we just been rocking with each other ever since, honestly. I don't even consider it like, I think one of you just used the word work, right? Like when did you guys start working together? It's like, it doesn't feel like it's work. Like Brandy's my best friend, you know? So it's just been a beautiful, beautiful friendship. She is an amazing, amazing human for real. So it's been a hell of a ride. And watching the growth I'm just proud of her. I'm really, really proud of her. And there's just so much more. So we've been working together for like 3 years now. We've known each other for 4. Yeah.
And how do you see things going in the Boston scene as far as like the next year or so? Like once shows come back, do you think we say this all the time? We're waiting for Boston to pop to be like known as an art city. I mean, it's sort of not as far as I'm aware. I mean, I don't know. Like, can someone sound off in the comments? Do people think of Boston as an art city? Like in the next year or so, are there things like that you guys have planned or any collaborations you don't have to talk about, but maybe we could expect like in the next year or so? Like how will the scene develop, I guess is really what I'm asking.
I think that we're seeing, I feel like Boston's been bubbling for a while. Like, I don't like to talk about necessarily like its journey as a whole. want to focus on what I've seen, especially in the last 3 years, where people are just more unified. I think people are tired of the patriarchal, racist institutions that keep artists like us out of them and do not provide us a space or a platform to just exist and be ourselves and share our art. So I think there's some of that got people, I think, to the point where they're like, okay, we need to do something. But I also think there's a real genuine love and respect between people that you see collaborating with one another. So for me, what I'm seeing is people are just being more strategic and intentional with how they're moving within the city and making sure that they're building up one another, so that they leave somewhat of like an infrastructure so that other artists and other generations can be able to walk that path. I think that's what we're seeing right now is like people banging on doors, like what's good. Even though we're in a pandemic, we are losing spaces, but like where's the pressure for those folks that weren't letting us in before or are saying that it's open now? What's that going to look like when we reopen? So that's kind of like what I'm anxious for, to be honest. As far as like plans for the future, I think for myself and for Brandy, honestly, I think travel is it. I think getting out and performing in other spaces is really what's on the agenda. I know for me, I definitely want to travel. I've had a couple of opportunities prior to the virus shutting everything down to actually like travel. I had a show in New York. They shut everything down. I forget exactly what day. It was like March 11th or 12th. It was like a Friday. I don't want to say it was the 11th because that's my son's birthday. I feel like I would have remembered that.
I think we
were actually just talking about this. March 11th was the day that like.
Was it?
I think that was Thursday though. I think March 11th was a Thursday.
I think it was like I said the 11th or the 12th.
The 11th and the 12th was like those were the 2 days
it was
that
a
everything
Friday and everything shut down. I had a show that I think the 15th in New York at the Nuyorican Cafe. So I was just like, yo, and I had an opportunity to travel to Africa too. And once this hit, it was just like, nope. So I'm sorry?
Where in Africa?
Nigeria, Kenya, and Ghana.
Oh, was that so there was going to be like a little
It was multiple. Yeah. Awesome. Multiple. Yeah. I was like super, super excited for that. But COVID, the beauty of it is that they ended up pivoting from in-person to virtual. So I still performed for the festival in Africa. I just wasn't in person.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that was like a dope experience. I was just like, so next year when this COVID thing, listen, like we can get these travel bans off of us.
I know there's going to be so much international travel. Like people who weren't trying to do it, I feel like because they told us we couldn't do it, now everyone's going to do it. Like they're like, whoa, hold on.
I also think it's contingent on like people and how they live their lives. I think now people realize like there were so many things that they could have done, should have done, might have wanted to do, and felt as though, for the last, because we've been locked down for a year.
Don't remind me. Oh, God.
It's been a year.
It has been a year.
I think people now are digging within themselves and just understanding what their happiness looks like. And that's why I think we're seeing like an influx of people just wanting to travel and get out and see other things, like for real, and just find that joy in being able to travel in a place that you've never been to before. Like that's super dope.
Yeah. Have you traveled for work before or for just art in general?
Yeah, actually, the last show that I traveled for was in February. I believe the dates were like February 25th, 26th, and 27th. It was a weekend. And I remember the dates because again, like we've been shut down for a year. So I went to Washington, D.C. with Arts Connect International. Amazing organization. If you do not know, please get familiar. So that's Arts Connect International. I went with 3 people from there, Marianne, Allegra Fletcher, and Stephen Hamilton, all of them amazing artists. And we performed at the Peace Institute and the National Press Room, which is actually where the president like gives their like addressing the State of the
the
Press.
Union.
Oh,
See, there it is. I'm like,
I was like, I
The
don't
State
even
of
know
the
what it is.
Union.
Yeah.
thank you.
There it
You.
is.
10 points for you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Did you see the eyes though? Like I was really like, what is this? Yes, State of the Union. Yes, I didn't even know that. I was like, oh, this is cool. I traveled there, and then with Be Heard World, we went on 2 tours actually. The first one was to 5 different states. We traveled along the Great Migration. If y'all don't know what that is, do your research. We traveled up against along the Great Migration Trail, and then the second time we went on tour, I believe we went to Jackson, Mississippi, and Memphis, Tennessee. So I've definitely traveled for, honestly, to keep it a buck. The only time I have traveled was for art.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
And that's probably the only time we should travel. That's when you see good things.
There ain't no lie in that.
Yeah. Oh, I love the applause. I was gonna say actually, when I was listening to these spoken words, I like wanted to. I'm like, this deserves applause. I actually expected for some reason there to be some applause at the end. I wasn't sure.
Are you saying snapplause?
Yeah, when you go like this.
Okay.
I love that terminology. I'm not gonna steal it. I'm gonna give you
I
your
didn't make it up. I swear.
applause.
Yeah.
Snapplause. 'Cause it's like a snap and an applause. Snapplause.
But that's like a poetry thing. So that's because you don't want to be like.
Nah, it is like the snapping. It is, but I've just never heard that together. That's interesting. Snaplause.
Is that
Y'all can get your snaplause on? Look at me. I'm already trying to work it into my. I'm already working it into my vocabulary. It's
Owen's a trendsetter.
Yeah,
yes, I love it.
Is that because it's like less jarring than clapping, because usually you're like setting feelings in poetry and you don't want to just start like clapping the room apart right as somebody finishes?
There's a whole reason why that happens. And I'm gonna give you homework.
Oh.
You're gonna Google.
Man. All right.
You're gonna Google why they snap instead of clap.
Is it long? Can I learn for the viewers? Or
nah, because the viewers should do their The viewers should do their homework too. Like tell them to Google where snapping came from in poetry. The history is the history alone is too deep. I'm in a good space right now. I'm done
we won't get
educating
into
for the
it.
day, and it's mad deep. Like it's mad deep, and it's gonna change the vibe. And then we're gonna be like, "Damn, that's where it came from." But yeah, do your history. It's interesting to say the least, but it makes sense. But to short answer you, it's quieter than the applause.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
As long as clapping didn't kill anybody back in the day, and that's
nah. But what if I told you if they clapped it would?
Oh, I would have said that we can't do that anymore.
Right. So it's not right. I'm telling you, Google it. I'm gonna DM you after this, and I'm gonna be like, Owen, did you Google?
Quiz me, yeah.
Owen.
I want to Google it right now. To be honest.
Owen, did you Google why they snap instead of clap?
I will now. I'm
tempted to Google it right now.
Nah, but for real, like, yeah. Google it.
You're gonna find out when I just like space out in the next 5 minutes. You're like, "Are you reading about that?"
You are. I'll be like, "So there's the interview over?"
Oh, so that's exciting though. I didn't know that I was gonna get like some education on that. I
didn't know we were gonna get homework, but
listen, I be trying. Okay, there's like I be trying, and feel free to give me homework too. I like assignments.
Oh, we should think of something.
Well, I'm like a star pupil. I'll try to turn it in early.
Yeah. So I always thought like the snapping just kind of like it is what it is, like kind of a thing. Like I didn't know that there was a reason for it. So
Mhm,
in a similar way, people always talk about MCs. And
mhm.
I think that it's a big thing. And I'm sure I'm not trying to pop quiz anybody here, but like MC, people usually spell it EMCEE as like a phonetic spelling. But from what I understand, it's a oh my god, an acronym.
Acronym.
Yeah,
Yes.
MC, the letters M and C for Master of Ceremonies. And I feel
Yep.
like that's something that not many people actually know, and it's a weird thing when you just
I
think
knew
like,
that.
yeah, I mean, it. I think a lot of people do, but it's one of those things that it's like a good party stumper almost. You can ask people, and someone might not get it right away. It's interesting.
Someone actually, that's interesting because somebody actually told me that they thought like the CC was like for notes. I don't read
Oh.
music, so I was just like, is that even a thing? I don't know if it was supposed to be a joke or they really meant it, but yes, Masters of Ceremonies. It's funny. I think most people know that, but not everybody knows that.
Yeah, I didn't know it for a while, and then I realized that it was actually standing for something. So
Yeah.
folks learn on our show. When
Oh,
There
people
yeah.
you
listen to our
go.
show, they
Educating the
learn about
masses.
snaps. Yeah,
Yes,
they learn
dropping
about
seeds.
MCs. Yeah, we're trying. We're trying. Sometimes people get a little dumber when they listen to us, but then we even it
It
out with episodes
depends.
like this.
Exactly.
I'm sure that's not true.
It depends on the
day.
guest.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it depends on the guest.
Well, damn, y'all.
Yeah, no, this episode's making people smarter for sure.
Yes,
This
I
is
love
this is a
it.
good one.
That's great.
So you recently or you're on a song that came out recently,
Oh, yeah.
correct? Yeah. Yeah, we were just listening to it.
Yeah.
So do you plan on releasing any solo music in the future?
Ooh. Yup.
Yep, I figured.
Yup.
Skrelly Bucks.
Yup.
Is that all you can say is yep? No more information?
Some variety. Love that.
No more information?
Is this gonna have?
All right.
Will we see singing or will we see like an R&B?
Singing,
like,
rapping.
Yeah. What are we gonna get? Genre.
Y'all
Little
gonna
bit
get
of everything.
something. And when you get it, I'm gonna send when I'm done with it, I'm gonna send it to y'all personally. How about that?
Oh, love
That would be amazing.
I would love to actually talk to y'all about I'll give y'all, yeah, we'll do a breakdown in DMs. I'll tell y'all now. I ain't gonna tell y'all here. Sorry,
Okay.
y'all.
All right.
Sounds
It's
good.
a
Yeah.
secret. It's actually not a secret. I just think for me, I've never even imagined that I would be like a recording, because they call it like a recording artist when you're on records.
Yeah.
Like I know that, but like when you like it's weird being on this side sometimes, because like I've watched so many of my people like go through this journey of making music, but now that I'm like doing something, I'm like, oh, this is expensive. Oh, this is time consuming. Oh, this is hard. How much longer is this song? Damn. Oh, do I own this? Oh, I'm leasing this. What does that mean? That means I don't get the stems. Do I need the stems? I do need the stems. Wait, do I think my song's gonna get more than 100,000 streams? Like, yo.
That segment right there would be a great clip for Instagram.
We're clipping that out.
Yeah, we're
too.
clipping that out.
You're very
It's like
clippable.
what goes through an artist's mind. Yeah.
Yo, not for real. It's real. I'm just like, oh, a producer is different than an engineer. Yeah, I still got to get this mixed and mastered. Wait, what is just getting it mixed mean and not mastered? And how much per track again? This shit is a lot, okay?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
samples and credits and like needing 3 weeks to upload and shit. It is stressful.
Is it in any way similar to like how when athletes make something look easy, like you'd think like a professional musician, like they just got lucky in a way, or like things sort of lined up so that worked for them, but you don't see all the like business and thought and grinding that really goes in the talent you need to make music. It's not just like putting things, it's not like banging out a paper or like something quick, you know, you can like,
I wish.
It has to be really carefully thought out and orchestrated, and the feelings have to be kind of considered throughout the whole thing. And I think a lot of people hear, and I do this too. I listen to music and I'm like, that's so basic. I bet it's easy to make that. And then you really try to like make it yourself or like recreate it. And it's just like not as easy at all as you'd think. Like there's such an effort that goes into that. And I can see how people would discover that going into it. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know how I was thinking the parallel between athletes is one of those things. You see someone doing it and it appears doable.
Right.
And then you go to attempt it and see how actually talented that person is. So I can.
Well, I'm not ignorant because I
Yeah.
used to be an athlete, so I know firsthand it ain't easy.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, like it is really hard. You are really literally trying to control your mind and your body at the same time. It is a different level of instinct and agility. So I would never say something like that. However, do I see why people think, with the example you gave about like the basic, like, oh, this is probably, do I think a lot of people think that? Yes. I've said that ignorantly. I mean, obviously, like just joking around, like, oh, they didn't take no time to put this out, but I don't know that they could have actually been sitting on it for a whole year. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know that. You know what I mean? Or it could have taken 6 months for them to even put it on wax. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know. Now I just have a different appreciation, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I think that I've always had an appreciation for musicians and music and just like the grind. Like I am an 80s baby. I'm not ashamed to say it. So I come from like guerrilla marketing, very in your face, rap, hip hop with like a definite message. So for me, I feel like it should, like, I don't know, all art should be heard, I guess. And not everything you have to like or have it be your cup of tea, but like you could still appreciate the fact that somebody put their time, money, and effort into this and their heart and soul, to be honest. Because I feel like while there's some artists out there that are creating to, you know, I don't know what their intention is, but for me, I want to lean on the side of believing that when artists make something, especially anything, that they're putting their heart and their soul into it first before anything else. And that alone is a lot. So all the other financial things, the business, all that other stuff, like, is so secondary to me, even though it's so much of it. It's like the heart and the soul, just to get it out there and put it out there, for me, is it. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. And
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things that I guess the driving point of that whole thing was it's not always obvious, like when you listen to a finished track, how much effort and time and feeling really went into it. And
or what if they couldn't afford to get it mixed and mastered? That's a real thing too. Like, I ain't even gonna hold you.
True.
And I'm not even gonna hold you. Sometimes it's like, damn, I just want to put this out. Like, I don't like, even with the fact that I can't afford to like give it its best quality, I still believe in it. Like, how do you say no to somebody like that? But on the flip side, like the business, the industry side of this would look at it and be like, your quality is automatically trash because it sounds like it was recorded on GarageBand. Fuck out of here. And then that's it. Sometimes, you know what I mean? And like, that's shitty, because it's like, well, wait, give this person a shot. Like, maybe this collection of work may sound different because they don't have the means, but like, if you worked with them and they had the means that, or they had the accessibility to be able to have the access to that type of equipment, maybe then it would be like, you know, grand slam out the park. I don't know, you know, it's just a lot that goes into it. And people who are making like, I don't know, 8 to 12 track projects, like, I give it up for y'all, because nowadays with EPs and stuff like that, it's really easier to like slide off with a couple of records on an EP as opposed to like a whole cohesive project. And that's no shade, because like that's what I'm working on, is an EP. So that's no shade. It's just, it takes that much to make a longer extended project, and that takes a lot of time. I know people who worked on albums and certain songs for years.
Yeah.
Years. It's
Yeah,
a
I'm always
lot.
amazed. Like that's always one of my questions when we have artists on. Is like how long if they've just dropped a project, like how long they've been working on it. And I'm always amazed at like sometimes they'll say like they started thinking about it like 2 years ago, or it's like to put all the pieces together is so much time, effort, and money, as you said. So,
Especially if you want some features, boy.
oh yeah, yeah.
I was actually gonna say this. I've heard anecdotes from other rappers that say that they missed opportunities, like people from Chicago that like had an opportunity to get a feature with Chance, but he was gonna charge $500, and they just felt like, what's this guy charging $500 for? And this was like before he was Chance the Rapper, and
Right.
now he is Chance the Rapper, and everyone knows who he is, and they're like, geez, $500 really wasn't that crazy, even though felt like way too much at the time.
Yeah, try
So
100,000 now.
Right?
yeah, I mean,
Probably more than that at this point.
Seriously.
we just made a joke on one of our last episodes. I think it was just released with Debo, how running into Millie's in the studio, it's like, hey, maybe we can get a feature with him. Maybe he'll do it for free. Like one of those things, you're going to be paying a lot. If you have anybody with any type of a name, I think it's always shocking. I mean, I didn't realize that. I thought a lot of features were done on good faith. I did not know it was always a business transaction.
It's not always.
It's not always. And
Yeah.
that's what I was just gonna say. Like, I'll advocate for both sides. I feel like I'm gonna start with the side that I normally tend to lean on with when it comes to features. For me, I look at it first, like, what's your concept? What's the project? What's the mission? Who's the person? Like, what's our relationship? Creating something together should be fun. Like, I'm not just jumping on with people because I think they're dope or for visibility. Like it's because I want to bond with them. Like creating, like I'm very old school. Like I want to sit in a room and have a writing session with you and like us feel it out and listen to some music and vibe out and get to know each other. Like that's the beauty of it for me. Like the infancy stages of getting to the final product for me, because that's something of magic that you'll have forever. Like at the end of the day, like that's always something you can go back to. The track with Jabs, that's one of my closest friends. When that came up, like when I listened to the track, I just remember the night that we were in my house damn near delirious till 3 a.m. trying to get it recorded. It was me, him, and Battle Axe. And we're just sitting here, and even the laughter in the beginning of the track was from one of the takes that I did that I just couldn't get it. And then I started doing my British accent, and I was like,
isn't that the best though?
It is the best. Like we had the sillies, it just turned into the sillies, and then we just started, laughing, and it became so funny, and then everybody pitched in and started talking like this, and we got
that is a phenomenal British accent.
Oh, thank you. I have a lot of time practicing it for sure. But yeah, the track is that's what it is for me. So as soon as I hear it, I'm immediately like back into that space of like, yo, we had such a good time. That to me is why, like, for features, like I'm like, oh yeah, let's just do it. Like I don't really talk money. But I will say that BMI and like ASCAP and things like that are different. Like I may not want money for a feature, but I definitely want credit on the product. Like I wrote the poem or I wrote the rap or those are my vocals. Like I just want that. As on the flip side of that, it's like, yeah, you should charge for features. Nothing, it is work. This is your craft. If you are charging because maybe you don't know the person that well and they need a 16 or they need a poem or something like that, and it's very transactional, that's okay too. I don't think there's no problem with that. Yeah. That's just how they're creating. I mean, that's what happens in the industry all the time. People be on the same labels and their labels be like, so we were in a meeting and we think you and you should do a collaboration track. No one questions whether they're like cool in real life or how much it cost or anything. No one's well, I mean, some people are talking about that. They'll speculate, but it's like, that's not what they're focused on. They're focused on just putting out the product. y'all make up whatever narrative you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think usually the best music comes from good times, like stuff like that. When you really see like good friends working together, I always go back to like Tyler the Creator. I love the whole Odd Future crew. Like they're having fun and just making good music at the same time. And it's like there's really nothing better than that. Like you see someone who's maybe with a label that's also making good music, but maybe doesn't seem as fun. It just looks like they're flashy and it's just what it is. Like, but I love the fun when you know that they're actually friends and they actually have fun making this. Maybe there's some lyrics that you can tell you're like, that sounds like an inside joke between them. That's hilarious. Like, but I still think it's funny too. And there's just so much of that like, and you do feel like you get to know people. I mean, it's the same with like any type of outlet. Like people may think that they know us from this podcast, and there's things where you think you know someone from listening to their music, and sometimes it's all about it's different things. Like it's topical and stuff. But when you and a friend vibe, and other people can catch that vibe at the same time, and then share that with their friends, and it's just you're sharing feelings, I guess, when it comes down to it, and that's the best. That's always the best.
Contagious vibes.
You see it all over the city, though. There's so many examples while you were talking. Excuse me. While you were talking, that I was just like, yo, I see that with Notebook P and DNA. I see that with C4 and Clark D. I see that with Oompa, Red Shades, and Brandy Blaze. I see that with Cake Swag, Brandy, and Queen Doll. And I see that with so many different people that like, it's just fun. Like you listen to the track and you're like, yo, you could tell that they really mess with each other and like they really like just had a blast doing this. Like those are some of the best records.
Van Buren too. You get that feel with them.
Yes.
Like,
Milkshaw, Benedict, Najee, Janie, and Sean Wire.
I mean, yeah, we could keep naming. We could go on forever. I had to throw Van Buren in there.
We could totally keep going. Like
we could.
There's probably collaborations that I didn't name that I'm just like, you could just tell, you know, and I think that's beautiful. But I'm also not opposed for people like charging for features. And I think that if you think $500 is a lot, then that's okay. Like you can go somewhere else or just don't have that person feature on your album. But you also have to understand like that person put in the time and that person put in the work to be able to charge that too. Most of the time. I won't say that that's all of the time, but most of the time. So like you have to respect that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you don't have an established relationship. So there's that part too. But like, you know, I think, you know, when you're doing stuff like that, it's an investment. Just like we're talking about mixing and mastering. It's, you know, it's a part of that. Like you're gonna do a feature, pay for it. If they ask for that and it's too much and it's not in your budget, that's okay. But like we have to invest in ourselves and invest in our art. So that there's that part as well.
Yeah, and if you're good at something, you really shouldn't do it for free. So it's one of those things I've heard. Just like at school, there were always like or school or work. I've just heard this in all different facets. If you're doing something for somebody, or I've actually heard this in particular in like a work study, like when you're at school, you work for like a certain amount of financial aid or something, like that's not really, the financial aid's not free money. You're working for it. It is like there's no such thing as a free lunch, and that they always say that even like in school and stuff. If you're like doing things for that it's you're contributing, and everything is I guess it all comes back. Like you're contributing in some way, whether it's a relationship, whether it's the music, whether it's your talent, whether it's money. There's something you got to contribute to the whole thing. So
for me, I still do free shows though. Most people don't think that, but I do. And I think that there's, for me, the reason why I do that, I always say like if it's community event or anything for the youth, I'm always gonna show up. And I think for me, that's just my way of giving back, you know, that's just what I can do. That's how I do my, you know, my due diligence. Like I feel like sometimes like we have to contribute something to give back in some way, shape, or form. And I definitely feel like that's a part of it.
Is there like a workflow you think like though? So some people may have the best of intentions. They may have money up front. They may have even like decent sounding music, But is there a situation where like a person maybe just wouldn't line up and like the feature just isn't going to work? I guess that's always allowed. You can always say you wouldn't take the feature or something like that, even if like it's a fair transaction or something like that. I don't know. People don't always work with each other. So you know what?
I mean,
Disregard
if you
that
think the
thought.
song's trash, you're not gonna want
That's true.
to.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, but then there's also like, forget the song. What if the concept isn't something that you're
Right.
comfortable with like talking about, or the subject matter isn't something that you potentially want to talk about, or it doesn't align with who you are as a person or your brand too. So there's like also that part of that side of it as well.
Oh, and you don't remember when when Eastie tried to get a song with Rex in high school and we had to bring the money back to him?
Wasn't there, but I heard about this.
Yeah. Our friend in high school tried to get a song with Rex and he paid him up front, and then Rex heard the song and was like, I don't want to do this. So then after school we had to like go meet Rex somewhere and get the money back. It was so funny.
I mean,
it was funny.
At least you got the money back.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't think that he wouldn't have given him the money back.
No, he absolutely would have.
Yeah.
But like
I was
that's
just thinking, when
that's
there's no receipts, you're like,
but like that's but still like it, but it's GP, and you know if you know, so that's on GP, but like that's honorable. At least like you know what I'm saying, like at least you know where you stand at that point, or at least have an inclination.
Right.
Absolutely.
No, it's fun. We talk about it now. It's hilarious.
It's either that or I don't know. So there's that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I know
that's my
both
worst
people,
nightmare.
so I ain't gonna say nothing else.
Oh wait, you know Eastie?
Yes.
Oh, Ish, we know Eastie.
Yes.
That's our guy.
I was like, I ain't. Yeah.
No, there was no hard feelings or anything. It's just a funny story.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
real.
But
Get your money back, bro. I ain't doing that.
Are there, so I guess you said there's too many artists to name. If you were gonna do, I guess, like on a album of your own, musically, is there anybody that you'd like in the city or otherwise? Like, is there like a dream feature that you'd like to have, or is there someone in the city that you are currently planning to work with, or is it a secret?
Dream feature would be. Damn. Dream feature would be Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, J. Cole.
all on the same song.
All on the same song. And No Name. I have to put No Name in there.
Okay.
And Chica. And that's it. Yeah, we just gonna make it mad long. It's gonna be a whole 9 minutes. Like Frank Ocean style. We're even gonna transition into different beats. Like it won't be the same beat the whole 9 minutes. Like we're gonna make it different. Like it's gonna be one song in one.
So
but it'll
you
be
heard
like
it here
5
first,
songs
folks.
in one.
That's
Yeah.
Nah, I just
coming soon.
I was just trying to divert the other question.
2022.
Yeah. 2022 is yo, speak that into existence for me, okay?
It's happening.
Yo, speak that. You said 2022. Yes, speak that into existence. What? Bruh, if that were to happen, yeah, I'd just be, yep. Yeah,
I mean,
that's it. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
I made it. That's
Awesome.
it. Mama, I made it. Let me not say that, because I feel like I've had so many of those moments here in Boston alone. Like I was like,
right.
Mom, I made it.
Hey, well, if you're feeling like that, you're in the right direction at least. So things are always
absolutely
be like,
absolutely.
It's not a false statement every time you say it, because that's a relative statement. We always set goals for ourselves. So you want to hit that goal and then say you made it, and then hit that next goal and say you made it, because you have.
I agree with that. That's a whole word right there. Nah, you're right though. Like every time like something huge happens, I'm kind of like, oh, and then like I don't feel like I necessarily sit in like the celebratory win, if you will. I'm like, what's next? And my mom, when I went to South Carolina a couple months ago, I can't believe it's already been a couple months ago, but in December. And I had been featured in A Beautiful Resistance. Janae, thank you, Janae Osterholt, for putting me in the Boston Globe for that series. It's an amazing series. And when my mom saw it, I was like, Mom, I'm in the Globe. And my mom was like, that's so amazing. I'm so proud of you. And then I went to work.
You, by the way, because they want us to pay them. It's ridiculous.
It's $1 to subscribe.
I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
I'm like, it's $1.
I just love to be that guy at the Boston Globe.
But I feel you. No, I'm honored to be featured and be among so many of the other people who were highlighted in that amazing series and are continuing to be highlighted in that amazing series. But I went right back to work. Like I worked for the rest of the day. And my mom came up to me later on that night because I was still on my computer typing away at like 2 or 3 a.m. And she was just like, you ain't gonna celebrate your win? And I'm just like, it's 2 a.m. And she was like, you could have at least taken the rest of the day off. And I was
this is
like,
how we got here.
Yeah, right.
I was
Exactly.
like, right, no days off. Ain't no sleep. We out here. We're not, we're marching over the bridge to get cheesecakes out here, Mom. Like, we don't sleep.
Is that
No.
referencing something? Am I unaware?
Yeah, I'm lost.
Sleep is the cousin of death. Nah, look at me getting all hyped up. I got hot. Nah, but like,
What was the cheesecake reference?
oh, Diddy.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
You might be too young for that. Making the band.
Okay, all
No,
right.
I'm gonna
I
have
remember
to
making the
Look at
band.
y'all.
I
Look at
remember.
y'all youngins. Look at
No,
y'all.
I remember
Y'all-
making the band.
Do you remember making the band?
O-Town.
I'm self-admittedly a baby boy, so I don't know. I don't know.
Don't
what that
remember the
was.
cheese. Okay, so that's your other assignment for today. We've
All right,
come to the conclusion that there's not just one, but there's two. So Google
we got a lot
making
to
the
learn.
band. Diddy wants them to get a cheesecake. I don't know. Mention cheesecake.
Making the band cheesecake. we'll
Making the
probably
band
take.
cheesecake walk. Yes, do that.
That'll work.
It'll pop up, I
Hold on,
promise
so
you.
I'm actually really
Pull this up. Yeah,
I did pull it up.
here we go.
Ah, you share screen me. I love it.
Here we go.
How far did
Wait, is there a
you make-
video of it? Is there?
Yeah, do the YouTube.
Go on
video.
YouTube.
There's a
Go on
whole
YouTube.
video.
Oh my god.
We have to watch this.
We're gonna
This
get
is
pulled
dope,
probably for this,
actually, by
You
the
know
way.
what? I think we're gonna get pulled if we play the video. So we'll
Nah,
just
we won't
tell-
get pulled.
We will. YouTube's pretty on that, so we.
That only
Yeah.
happened once, and it was a Kanye song.
It's gonna happen. They'll know what it is. This is a
Okay,
Diddy
so the
thing.
trick, no, I'm just kidding, because there's like a myth that if you only play 15 seconds, they won't take it down, but that's a lie.
They'll do
heard
it.
it
I
here
know. They
first.
have like algorithms. They're analyzing the waveforms of your video. They'll know if you put a song or video of anything that's on YouTube on there. I wish it wasn't true. We can tell people what to do though. I guess like
Can
if
we
they-
try it and see what happens?
with this whole? Then we'd have to repost. I think this whole.
All right,
interview,
never
so I
mind,
don't wanna,
never
like,
mind.
do
We
that.
could just
No one
listen. We're in like these COVID times. We could just, punch in on the edit over here. Let's watch it.
Oh, let's watch it. Yeah, let's
Let's
just do
watch it together. Even if we have to cut this segment, I don't even care. Just to get y'all's reactions.
With
of
your
this
consent,
cheesecake.
we're gonna do this.
Yeah, this
Yes.
is a reaction video now.
Yeah, it's a reaction video now.
Cheesecake flip.
I've never done a reaction video. This is exciting.
Yes.
No, we did do a reaction video. We watched that person infiltrate Fenway Park.
Oh, that's right.
But we didn't
did.
show the video on that one. So
Yeah,
that was,
exactly.
Hold on. Is this the one making the band?
Episode
Oh,
one.
it's the
cheesecake.
full episode.
Oh,
We
what-
just want the cheesecake.
Yeah, there's gotta be.
Oh
a
my
better one.
god.
We just
Did
need
Chappelle
some.
Show do a parody of it?
Yo,
man.
yeah. See, I told because it's epic. It's epic.
Oh my gosh, how am I unaware of this full episode? There's got to be. You know what? I'm checking it out. Someone definitely time stamped it in the comments.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love it.
We're
I
gonna
love.
check
See,
this.
don't you love the internet?
Yeah.
People timestamp now. It's just easier. Click.
This-
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably it. That's probably
yeah,
it.
yeah. I think he's like convincing them for the first 11 minutes, and then
Oh
they
my
go.
God.
Hey, what's happening? What's going on? You want to talk to you for a minute? Yeah, man. Ain't even on the road. I mean, if y'all don't want to go, y'all go home. Y'all go home back home. Whoever don't want to go, go home. Okay, y'all all go home. That's just all go Respect the team, though. God bless you. You too. Have a good time.
Hold on, just quick.
That's the right.
Sorry, quick side note. So did he just wanted cheesecake and he asked his team to go
Nah, see,
get cheesecake? What is the
I
rule?
feel like we ain't going deep dive into that, but I don't even
Figure
feel like
this
he just
out,
wanted cheesecake. I feel like it was a lesson. Like if you watch the whole season, it was just a lesson.
Oh,
And I do
interesting.
want to make it one day. So Diddy, if you listening, no shade, boo.
Yeah, whatever.
Yes,
We're all
bad boy
allowed.
for life.
Everyone's got weird riders, right? Is that part of the rider or whatever, or is that just like
I don't know, but they said they didn't want to do it and then they did it. So I don't
that's
even
on them? Yeah.
that's on them. But what I'm gonna say is I don't know. Would I walk across a bridge like that long in the cold in New York against traffic to get somebody cheesecake?
I mean, was
To
it
get
actually
somebody
10
cheesecake?
miles?
It was a good nice walk.
Oh man, if I had my longboard with me, I might have cruised it, but I don't
But
know.
some people would say
Uh,
that's nothing to like make your dreams come true. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
True.
So like there's
Well,
that.
I
There's
mean,
folks are like, I would do less.
was he paying? I
I mean,
imagine
I
he's
was
paying them.
I don't know none of that. See, Diddy, Revolt TV. I don't have the answers. Owen. I don't have the answers.
please, I'm not like Sway.
Who are
sometimes-
Sway?
I don't have the answers. And I'm not like Kanye, even though Kanye is a Gemini.
Oh, is he a June Gemini? Uh-oh.
Kanye's a Gemini. That makes